But what this weather did not provide is a shadow or reason to hide. Glad tidings on this Groundhog Day. An early spring is on the way.
And just like that, the most famous groundhog in the world, Punxsutawney Phil, decided that we're all going to have an early spring. But did you know that back in the day, Zoo Boise had their very own Punxsutawney Phil? I'm sure many of you remember this. His name is Boise Bill, and he apparently retired in the past few years from his big day on February 2nd. In 2022, Bill's team posted, quote, "Honestly, it's a lot of stress having the whole world depend on you to predict the weather, and I needed to take a break. I've really been enjoying my time out of the spotlight and have been focusing on Zoo Boise's conservation fund," end quote. So we appreciate that from Bill and his team, but we wanted to know, how accurate is the groundhog's prediction? Well, on this day in 2016, Brian Holmes brought us a special report.
Ladies and gentlemen, Punxsutawney Phil.
They've put their faith in Phil since the 1880s.
Is this current warm weather more than a trend? Perchance this winter has come to an end.
Or perchance a groundhog in Punxsutawney possibly seeing his shadow is a pretty weird way to watch the weather. So here's the thing with the shadow. February 2nd marks the halfway point between spring and winter. The story goes that if Phil sees his shadow like on a fair day like today, then the worst of winter is ahead of us. But if he doesn't see his shadow, the worst of winter is behind us. Meteorologist Larry Gebert believes in a simple supposition.
I mean, if you think about the temperatures in the east, they've been up around the 40s, 50s, and that same thing happened today. So the fact that they're going to have an early spring actually makes sense.
So how can a rodent in Pennsylvania predict the rest of winter for the rest of the country, particularly here in the Pacific Northwest, where in Boise, we tend to look to the prairie dog, who right now is tending to keep his shadow in his home? Well, neither rodent is actually reliable. In fact, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or the federal agency that tracks this stuff, Phil has only been accurate 4 out of the last 10 years.
There is no shadow to be cast. An early spring is my forecast.
As for the gem state, so far winter in southwestern Idaho has been kind of a mixed bag. While we've seen a stellar season when it comes to snowfall in the mountains and for the ski resorts, down here in the valley, we've seen above average temperatures and below average precipitation. So with a shadow shown this morning, we should see a rough second half. If only we weren't in an El Nino, which usually means a warmer, drier winter for the Northwest. But Phil and the rest of his rodent family is right on about one thing. Timing is everything.
I think that if you really think about it for a moment, to predict 6 more weeks of winter, when you take February 2nd to March 21st, 22nd, it's pretty much 6 weeks.
Of course, all of this groundhog business is about as reliable as seeing an actual prairie dog here at Zoo Boise in the middle of winter. Brian Holmes, Idaho's News Channel 7.
And by the way, we are in an El Nino this year, in case you're keeping score at home. But Brian touched on this. Did you know that the prairie dogs, basically our local groundhogs, they have a special exhibit at Zoo Boise named for KTVB legend Larry Gebert. Larry would go visit Boise Bill every year on Groundhog Day, and we miss you, Larry, so much, but your fun memories, including Boise Bill and all your live shots with him, they live on forever. Larry Gebert is always the first person that I think of on Groundhog Day. So we love you so much, Larry. And yeah, go visit the Larry Gebert Prairie Dog exhibit over at KTVB. And I'm curious, you guys could text in if you remember watching Larry in the morning. Oh, who's this? Who has showed up? Boise Bill, good to see you. Okay, well, Boise Bill, I know he retired from predicting the weather on Groundhog Day, but he has made a special appearance here on the 208. So, Bill, thanks for all your work over the years. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break. You and I will continue our chat, but the 208, we'll be right back. So what have you been up to these days?